Welcome. In this video I'm going to show you how you can create a dot plot for categorical data using Python. I'm using Jupyter Lab specifically and running a Python 3 kernel. There's a bit of confusion, or actually there are multiple interpretations of what a dot plot should look like. Some will say it's only for quantitative data or continuous data, but there are others who do the interpretation I have, which is a bar chart, but every case is actually represented with a dot, as shown in this example over here. Now, if you want, you can go to my website. I'll explain the differences and the different interpretation, but this is the interpretation I'm going to show how you can do that with Python. For that, we will need to have NumPy, pandas, and Seaborn, because Seaborn is the library that we're going to use to create actually the chart. So I'm going to load those in. This prevents me from the try except, simply prevents me from reinstalling it. But if I don't have it, it will actually install the library. I'll need some example data. I'm going to use pandas read CSV for that, and I'm using General Social Survey 2012, slightly adjusted by myself. I'll load that in, and the variable I'm going to be using is marital status, which was listed as mar1. So now I have, under my variable, I have this marital 1 status data. I'll put a link to my website in the description below. On my website you can also then actually find this Jupyter notebook and the corresponding data file if you want to follow along. Let's have a quick impression on this table. So there are 972 cases that were married, 395 never married, etc. Now, if I want to make a dot for all of these, that's going to be, I think, almost close to 2000 dots. So that's a little bit too much. It might be better than to let one dot represent, for example, 40 cases, 40 respondents. So what I can do is I can divide my frequency table by 40, but I want it rounded. So I'm actually going to use it as type NP for NumPy and then use integers. So then I know how many dots I want to draw for each of the categories. Now, unfortunately, I've looked long and hard to make this kind of dot plot, and I haven't found any easy way. So we're in for a small ride. The first thing to do is I'm going to arrange all my dots, or I'm actually going to create an array with numbers going from 1 up to, for Mary, to 24. I will later need the same thing, but then 1 to 9, 1 to 7, 1 to 4, and 1 to 1 basically. I can use np arrange for that, and this will simply give me the numbers 1 up to, in this case, 24. n.values 0 gives me that 24, and I need to have one more because I start at 1. So that's why it will then actually end at 24, even though this will compute to 25, and it's 1 up to 25, so but not including 25. I also need to have then 24 times the label, which is married, and for that I can use the np numpy full command, which will actually create then that that list, that array with all those married labels in them. As you can see here, the n.values gives me the values, so I need 24 of them, which is correct, and then the keys will actually give me the labels, as it were, and I want the zeros one because that's married. I can then combine the dots and the labels as one bigger array by using the vstack command and then transpose that. So, and I'll only show the first 5 records, so now you see that it's married 1, married 2, married 3, etc. I need to repeat this for all the categories, so I've done that in here. So it's the exact same thing, but every time the values from the n dots that I'm taking is 1 higher, and of course the label are slightly different. So I'll load all of these, And then I need to combine all these that I now have, the never married, the divorced, the widowed, the separated, and of course still my original married one, into one super array by using the concatenate command from NumPy. And I want them underneath each other, so I use axis equals 0, and that should give me then all the dots I need. Finally, I can then use the strip plot command from Seaborn. The dots and this will actually be the labels, and the dots itself. I don't want to see any jitter, which would mean that it would shift a little bit the dots if there are many at the same place. And just for the fun of it, I increased the size a little bit of each dot. And that indeed in the end gives me the dot plot. Now there's probably lots more you can do with this, or perhaps even simplify my steps. I did make it into one bigger function, so the dot plot function I created myself. It requires a field and how many one dot represents how many data points. So these are then, this is basically the description for the help file if needed, and this does actually all those steps, but it loops through the categories. And then this should give me then in one go the exact same result. Alright, and that was kind of it. Here's the signature now and my references. So that was quickly how you can create one of these dot plots for categorical data. If you have another library or know of another way of actually doing this, let me know. And thank you for watching. I hope it was helpful, and see you in the next video.